Well, well, well. Good news abounds. Good news abounds, people. Here it is. Ha! This is an email that I got from Bonnie Watson Coleman. She's a congresswoman in my district. I'm looking at this email and I'm like, what's that about? And then I'm like, oh my God, that is my Money for the People proposal. It's the Money for the People Act proposal. This is the actual bill. I have yet to read it. But do you see what that says? And she's got endorsements. Watson Coleman. Introduction of Guaranteed Income Pilot Program. The Guaranteed Income Pilot Program Act of 2023 would set up 3-year program to provide a monthly income to a test group and study its impact. I glanced through it and she's got all these endorsements from everybody, right? Now, Bonnie Watson Coleman been in there in Congress, 4 or 5 terms? Never introduced a pilot program. And listen, don't think that I'm complaining. This is not a complaint. But she never introduced anything that would even come close to Money for the People. I don't care what people call it. I told you I make these videos, and then why couldn't she have created this bill in her first or second or third term? Why couldn't they all have created it? They could have. She doesn't need a pilot program to know that this is going to work. Of course this is going to work. Specifically, it says let me just get to the section that I need you to see. Because this is just her email that she sent out with the people endorsing the program. In general, the Secretary, in consolidation with the Commissioner of Internal Revenue, shall establish and implement a 3-year program. A 3-year pilot program, thereafter referred to as a program, to provide a guaranteed monthly income to certain eligible individuals in accordance with this section. Now, who are the eligible individuals? Income subsidy, selection of participation eligible individuals. The Secretary, in consolidation with the Commissioner and the external partner. Now, first of all, let me back up. Commissioner of Internal Revenue. The Secretary and the Commissioner of Internal Revenue. As president, I hire those people. So they will put forward my programs for everyone. Because the money's already there. Biden could be doing this right now. Obama could have did it when he was in office, and Trump could have did it when he was in office. Because it's not like Republicans don't have the same financial needs that we do. Did I finish reading that? So, why is she running for president? Because we need help. I'm here for Americans. I'm an American. I'm just like you. I got the same issues. I got the same family background. I am an American, and I'm tired of these people that put their nose in the air and tell us, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. When we don't have boots. I heard somebody made a joke about that the other day. Oh, black people shouldn't say they don't have boots. Bitch, we don't have boots. Not black people. Not black people. American people don't have boots, and we don't have shoestrings in those boots. You got shoestrings. You got boots. 14% of Americans are doing very well. And they're usually ones that go out there and vote. The rest of us, the other 86% of us, we are the ones who work. You collect all of our taxes collectively and you spend it on a bunch of bullshit. But you never do anything to help us in our community. Anyway, let's get into the meat. I had to stop because my hand was hurting. Let me see if I could finish it off. That's why I use wig brushes on my hair, because it just goes through a lot easier. Oh. I always have to work in pain, but this is a lot. I don't like not having my hands to work the way they should. Oh, it hurts so bad. But I'm not one to give up. I'm not one to feel sorry for myself. All right, let's do it this time. Come on, fingers. Work with me. There we go. There we go. There we go. Ouch. And that. All right. Because I can always cut some of this video out. All right. Good enough. Let's get to the meat and grits of what she's saying. Too many Americans cannot achieve financial stability due to income volatility, the rising cost of living, wage stagnation, and a lack of affordable housing. That was number one. Number two, real wages have failed to keep in pace with inflation. The purchasing power of American households has not changed in decades. Yes, baby, it's been decades. So where you been with this bill? But that's okay, because if you American people have the good sense to make me the president of the United States, see, now I've already got her support. And I've already got everybody else who signed up support. And anybody who would not support me or think that, oh, we're just going to stagnate you for 2 years. We're getting rid of those people. We're going to have a special election, and we're going to vote in people who want to work and help Americans. No more of this foolishness where the Democrat and Republicans just sit back and let people do what they want, like Tuberville. He should have been removed. And in my administration, if there's somebody who is putting the United States, the operation of a United States government in jeopardy, my attorney general is going to go after that person, file charges against them, and get them removed. And the people in that state, you can elect somebody else. Tuberville will be gone because he's committing crimes. Now, if we have a war, we don't even have any generals lined up. If somebody attacks us right now, as I'm talking to you, we don't have any generals lined up to even head those wars. You don't think the rest of the country knows that? Why hasn't Biden went after him? Why hasn't Biden had his? Because you can't just use your DOJ, Department of Justice, to just go after anybody for anything. You cannot. But when someone in Congress is jeopardizing the United States and causing a state of emergency, yes, you can. There's laws on the book to do it. So why is Biden sitting back and letting this happen? I digress. These are the things that most Americans don't realize. The power of that presidency is, he got a lot of power. He's not going to use it because he's saying he's Democrat. He's a racist at heart. and I'm talking about Biden. And he more than anything, he is a capitalist, and capitalists look after other capitalists. They want money. You know, the Jews started that system of capitalism to the degree that it is today. They didn't create capitalism. I'm not saying that, but the capitalism that exists in America, uh, that's for another day. Let me get to this because I gotta go. It's the first of the month. I got bills to pay. Income volatility, defined as an annual income fluctuation of 25% or more, impacts millions of American households. Yes, it does. She knows this. She's known this. 2/3 of Americans are worried they wouldn't be able to cover their living expenses for just 1 month if they lose their primary source of income, while 57% of American adults are currently unable to cover a $1,000 emergency expense. That is me. I have a $1,000 emergency expense right now. I can't cover it. When I was working, I always had $3,000 to $5,000 in the bank, and that was a lot because I was a single parent. I was raising my kids on my own. I was paying off my tuition for my schooling. I didn't go to college, but I went to equivalent business schools that were equivalent to a college degree. And that's how I was able to make the money that I was able to make. And I did start college. So let me say I didn't go to college. I have started college, but that's another story. That percentage is higher for millennials at 79% and Generation Z at 85%, unable to cover an emergency expense. So the younger generation, this is why y'all can't even cover half of what we could cover. Full-time minimum wage earners cannot afford a 2-bedroom apartment anywhere in the United States unless you are a TPS protected service worker, migrant who decided to break the law and walk into this country. They get in apartments, they get in Section 8, they get in food stamps, they get in Medicaid, they're being paid cash money reparations for something that the government in their country did to them. Our tax dollars are paying for it. So when you go to social services now and you say, I need help with my rent, they tell you there's no more money. Billions of dollars being spent on non-citizens. So in my other video, I said, don't think I'm against immigration. Immigration is where you get in line. You put in an application and you wait for your application to be processed. And then you become an American citizen so that you can get a job, pay taxes, right? Then you have the ability to vote. Migrants just walk across the border and they're given in some states the ability to vote because Republicans and Democrats know that the American people are fed up. We're tired. And we want our taxes to be spent on us, not $14 billion in Ukraine for a war that Vladimir Putin started. Not $60 billion for a war that Netanyahu started. There are a bunch of criminals in his community that he was supposed to take his army and go after those criminals. He wasn't supposed to blow up entire towns and then ask the American people for $60 billion to rebuild it. Him and Biden and the Democrats and Republicans that just rushed to send this money to them. You couldn't spend $60 billion on us. You couldn't spend $14 billion to give those who qualify the one-time payment of reparation. But you can send $60 billion, $100 billion. That man had the audacity to open his mouth and ask the American people, taxpayers, we need $100 billion. And when they take it and they put it under the budget for the war, when they do the budget, which they do every 2 years, they allocate money for the different spending allocations. You had the audacity to say of that 14% that they're taking out of the 100% of the general fund and allocating to the war fund. You had the audacity to say, well, now we're going to take $100 billion of that money and we're going to send it to two wars that are in country, two wars that now are embroiled in a war because they are our brethren. Who are we? You want us to keep voting for you to send money out this country. Who are we? Where's our weekly paycheck? I've been talking about money for the people on my channel for a while. And I said, even though I only have 439, thank you, subscribers. I only have 439 subscribers, which is not only, that is a lot for me. Because I don't know that, people like that. So for me to have 439 is like me having 4 million, to be truthful. But the ones who are, excuse me, the ones who are privately subscribed to me, that all total, it's like, it's almost 1,000 subscriptions. It gets shown on your other page. You have to go in your pages. One day I'll print it out and show you. It doesn't matter. But the last time I checked, I almost had 900. I'm sure by now it's 900 subscribers, but they're private. And I love it that they're private. I do. You know why? Because I want things like this to happen. This is why I take my videos and I record them and I give my ideas. Because look now, certain individuals are going to be chosen to participate in this program. I hope I'm one of them. So what she's going to do, what she's saying is, she's going to take the, she goes into that guaranteed income program. I'm trying to get to the part where, because she said it in her thing. Okay. So now she's talking about the amount of the subsidy of the eligible individuals participating in the program. 10,000, because she's going to do 20,000 people altogether. 10,000 shall receive a cash payment each month equal to the fair market rent for a 2-bedroom home in the zip code that they live in which the eligible individual resides, or a substantially smaller amount as determined by the secretary in consultation with the commissioner and the external partner. Because I was about to say, some people live where a 2-bedroom is $6,000. That's ridiculous. You'll need additional $6,000 a month. That's a little too high. But the average apartment is running $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And they're going to give this money out on the 15th. Monthly distribution of income subsidy. Each participating eligible individual shall receive the cash on the 15th day of the month. This has not been passed, but I'm just telling you that these are the ideas that they've come up with. Responsibility of the Commissioner of Internal Revenue. The Commissioner of Internal Revenue shall be responsible for providing the Secretary access to tax records to administrators and study the program under this section, because I believe 10,000 of the people are homeowners and 10,000 of the people are non-homeowners or renters. Updating the secretary and the external partner on changes to the taxable income of a participating eligible individual. And you need to track it, because what I was going to do as president, everybody was going to get it as long as you qualified. I said what the qualifications were on my other video, and I went into it in depth. But just briefly, to qualify for Money for the People Act, you have to be 18 years of age or older, an American citizen or a migrant, or an immigrant who has been in this country and who has paid taxes for at least 10 years. Because some immigrants, when they come to the country, depending on their circumstances, they've not paid any taxes. So we're not going to give money to people who haven't paid into the tax system. Right? You whatever you've been doing, to sustain yourself. However you have been sustaining yourself, which is probably illegal, by stealing someone else's social security number and working under their number and causing them all types of hell. We're not going to turn around and give you a boost and pat you on the back and give you money every week when you're in this country and you're working under somebody's social security number illegally and it is impacting them, the American citizen. So I don't see these protections here in this one, but what she's doing is she's doing a study group of 20,000 people. 10,000 have to be homeowners, right? Because that was when I said the middle class is gone. This is what I'm talking about. People are losing their homes in America. Now, this is just in New Jersey. It's going to work. This is just in New Jersey. But it has to be tracked. And I went in detail about my program of how it was going to work. Who is this lady sitting here saying this stuff? Nobody going to give us monthly or weekly checks in addition to our income. You can't get a check if you don't have a job. Because this is not a welfare program. This is to help bring everybody in America that qualifies out of poverty and to put that money back into our communities. That generates more taxes. Money generates taxes. Why do you think rich people keep making money? They have money and they're using that money to create more wealth, to create more what? Income. Whereas American people, we're working and we're barely paying our bills, and then we're taking out loans where people want to charge you 600% interest. That's what happened to me recently. I told them flat out, I'm not paying you 600% interest. That's all. And then something happened to my car, and I couldn't even pay the loan. Why? Check to check to check to check. This is the anger that's in America, because we are so fed up of watching you people get six figures. You get in the office and you forget all about us. So I blame the American public, because if you don't vote for someone like me, I can't do anything for someone like us. They're going to always take care of them. They're going to always take care of the middle class. But they never say anything about the poverty stricken, the poor working. There's a difference. Poverty stricken. If you're poverty stricken, you could barely afford to keep your head above the water. That water is right here and here go your nose. If you inhale or bounce too much, that water going up your nose. That's poverty stricken. People would love to just be poor, because if you're poor, that means you can at least cover all your bills. You can't do nothing else, but you can at least cover your bills. And you're just borrowing money and putting yourself in debt, and you're just paying off just enough to keep yourself going. You're poor. There is no more middle class. Poverty stricken. First of all, the one at the bottom is people that are on veterans and SSI, because we just get that one income. But if you're working, poverty stricken. Poor. The poor is the middle class. And then there's skip, the rich. The rich. You got to go all the way to another hand. Everybody else in the crack trying to make it out. I did a video on in the crack. I don't mean crack drugs. At any rate, I'm going to go get washed, get dressed. Let me just go over one other thing. She's saying the secretary shall select external partners. They're going to have other people working it, of course, the layers. Selection. The secretary shall, and I just one other thing. In New Jersey, we had a $10 billion surplus. Some of it was spent and it went down to $6 billion. So between $6 and $10 billion, a surplus of money. See, that's the type of person that I'd hire in my administration. I only know of two people that did this when there was debt New Jersey was in debt. Governor Phil Murphy came in and he got us out of the debt. And now we have a surplus of $6 to $10 billion. The other person that did this, the first person that I know that did this was Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, former president. The United States was in debt and we owed money to China, Russia, everybody. He came in and he allocated a portion of, remember that general fund that I was telling you about? 14% goes to the Army. Well, if you allocate 2 or 3% of your general budget to pay down your debt, that's hundreds of millions of dollars. You could pay off your debt. And then the rest, you negotiate. You mean I ain't paying you everything I owe you because you owe me money. China owes America money. Russia owes America money. First of all, if I become president, Putin is going to prison. So they're going to have to find somebody else to replace Putin. That's the first thing. Promise you, he's going to prison. And so whoever's going to be running Russia, you owe us a debt too. And your former boss committed war crimes. So you're going to have to pay for that because now we're sending money to a country to pay. So what I owe you gets chopped down. You see, that's how that works. Yeah, I may owe you some money, but you did something, and now you making me pay over here, so we're going to take that off your tab. What you going to do about it? Oh, thank you. And see, this way you eliminate and you avoid a war and sending our men and women into battle to get their arms and fingers and legs chopped off, to make them come home crazy from the things they see overseas and kill their families. That's not what our men and women in the service signed up for. Then you don't even want to provide them with any benefits. All right. The part that I wanted to get to is this. There is going to be a disregard of cash payments for purposes of all federal and federally assisted programs. So anybody that she's bringing into the program that's on SSI, this money will not be counted as income. I'm telling you, this is my program. This is my Reparations Act and Money for the People Act, because my program go hand in hand. It's not this act and this act. Those two acts go together when I'm the president. And again, of that 86%, if you take 6% and you allocate it to paying off all our debt, which will be paid at that 6%, our debt will be paid within 4 years, if not sooner. Because everybody not getting paid back because you cost us money. Y'all owe us money. So let's chop that down off of our debt. See, this is what Biden could be doing right now. But he won't. Why? He's a capitalist and he's making money on the back end, right, with the other Republicans and the other Democrats. So we don't have as much debt. Oh, you owe $1 trillion. No, we don't. Not when you owe me money. We're going to work that out. We're going to cut down some of that debt and we're going even. And then that 6% of money that was been taken out to pay down our debt, you allocate 3% of it and you just keep taking it out and you save it. You put it in reserves in case we get into debt again. The other 3%, you use that to pay your reparations because that's more than enough. Reparations is a one-time payment. It's not a continuing payment. All of this could have been done instead of all this arguing and bickering. And then we got 80% left of our budget of taxes that are coming in to do whatever Congress and them is doing with it right now. It could be spent better. But all of these programs and all of these libraries and all of this stuff that's going into the individual towns, 80% of that budget, I'm going to take another 10%, let y'all have 70%, and we're going to take another 10% and set that up for something else. But again, I'm not the president. But I say this because I want people to hear, people in America, this is what your tax dollars should be spent on. The 10% runs these programs that I'm talking about. Now, Congress has 70% of all the taxes that are collected to do whatever the hell they've been doing with it. And that's more than enough money. I'm going to read this and I got to go because it is 9 o'clock and I got to go. Cash payment disregard. Notwithstanding any other provisions of law, any payment made to the participating eligible individual under this section shall not be taken into account as income. And this is my money for the people. Thank you, Bonnie Watson Coleman, for at least introducing it. I give credit where credit is due, and everybody else who signed on. You see, Cory Booker didn't sign on. You see, what's his name that's getting indicted? Menendez. They didn't sign on to it. Why? Everybody in New Jersey should have co-sponsored this bill. It shall not be taken into account as resources for a period of 12 months from receipt for purposes of determining the eligibility of such eligible individual or any other individual for benefits or assistance or the amount or extent of benefits or assistance under any federal program or any state or local program financed in whole or in part with federal funds. So if you're on welfare, if you're on SSI and you're getting and veterans benefits, the money that you get on the 15th is not going to count. If you're in a program like Section 8, every time you get money, Section 8 raises your, see, this won't be counted as income. So Section 8 can't raise your rent. Right? That's the whole purpose of me introducing Money for the People Act, to eliminate everybody going after that money. But again, you got to keep your job unless you're disabled. If you're disabled, then that's one thing. But I include people on disability because we only get $900 a month. We're not even poor. You can't live off of $900 a month. And it's not even $900 a month because you've got to pay your rent. So most people on SSI and veteran benefits, we live off of about $100 a month. $200 if you're Scrooge like me and you can squeeze it out. But that means you're cutting out a lot of things. You're cutting out a lot of activities. My purpose was not to give people extra pocket money. My purpose in saying it is that Americans are suffering, and it is our tax dollars that pays for everything. We pay for everything, and we get nothing from these people that give themselves a raise every time it's time. Because the last I looked, it was a $200-something. They get $235,000 a year. We paying you that much money, and you can't even give us how much back? How much our taxes you're collectively taken? And then Biden said, "Oh, somebody said Biden's unemployment numbers are down." Look at this. Look at all this money coming in. Excuse me. No. The people in America are still unemployed and underemployed. It's the protected service workers that you let into this country, the migrants. It is them that are working, that cause the money that the paychecks that they're getting. They don't even pay any taxes. They work through an agency. So the agency is able to pay the taxes. And that's why it looks like there's a boost, because you have all these people who are not citizens working. Americans are still in the same position. I gotta go. I just wanted to read that part to you, that if you get selected, if this passes, The only other thing that I wanted to read to you is 8 pages. Is the bill. Where is it? It usually says who sponsored it. Who co-sponsored it. Authorization of appropriations, $495 million for each year of the fiscal year from 2024 through 2028 is what she's saying it'll cost. Eligible, she's saying an individual taxpayer between the ages of 18 and 65. It's going to be based off of the fair market rent. Commissioner. The term commissioner means the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. I thought she put in here that she was going to have other people that receive benefits too, because she's specifically talking about benefits here. Disregard of cash payment. Qualifications. Mixed method. An organization selected to be the external partners shall have demonstrated in that. That's just for that. And then the cash payments. Well, at the back, she's only doing people that are working according to this bill. But then in this paragraph, number 21, she's saying it's a disregard. So I guess if you get cash payments for anything else, they're not going to say, they're not going to count this as an income. Or if you get SNAP, if you're working and you get SNAP. So she's not even including the people who need it the most, which is people that are on SSI. Veterans. Again, I haven't read the entire thing. But according to what I just read, she's saying the only people that are eligible are taxpayers. All right, I got to go for real this time. I was just trying to see who else, because I doubt her bill will pass. Hello, morning. Girl, I'm just finishing up a video. I got to wash my butt and get out of here. Bonnie Watson Coleman on September 27th. I got the email this morning. Don't ask me why I'm just getting the email this morning. You hear me? Ronnie.
Quick question. I was supposed to be
Hold on. I told you I'm recording on this thing, so hold on. Let me end the thing. So that I was telling you that the Bonnie Watson Coleman, she introduced a program that's just like my Money for the People program, but it's in New Jersey. All right, you people, I gotta go. I gotta take this call. Have a good day. And remember, with me running as president, this will be implemented. This is just a suggestion from her. Have a good day. Okay, I ended it.